So the next portion of this adventure is going to be on how you guys are going to find the cult hideout. So let me explain the rules real quick, and you guys can kind of think about what you're going to do. Considering the
Mhm.
fact that Count Ulrich already tried to find this location without success, you know this will be extremely hard. Each player can roleplay to try to solve this mystery. Every time you do something that improves the party's chances of finding the hideout, I will lower the difficulty of the skill check. You cannot copy each other's ideas. When everyone has run out of ideas, then we will have one member of the party roll investigation to try to find the hideout. Every time you fail the skill check, you waste time.
Righteous. Oh man, are we sure that Sloss can't contribute just a little bit here, or should he leave and leave this to the others?
You can have Sloss contribute if you want.
All right. So Sloss is gonna. So I guess this is as we're out in the town. Sloss kind of adjusts his eye patch in his coat, and he says, "The hair on the back of my the hair on the back of my neck standing up. I'm feeling another lead coming on. But first, I'm going to help you so you don't screw up." And Sloss is going to walk away from the group. He's going to spend a day like just hiding out and shadowing anyone. He's going to listen in on conversations as he just walks down the street. If he hears anyone who sounds like they're talking about something that's like coded speech, he's going to try to secretly tail them from a distance away and follow them to find out where they go.
Okay, that sounds good. Go ahead and roll me a 1d2.
Okay.
Now wait. Now I want to ask you a quick question. Actually, it might be a 1d4. Can you tell
Okay.
me who you're following specifically?
Depends on what sorts of. First of all, he's gonna just kind of be just walking, trying to search for any lead at all. And then the first time he hears someone talking about something that sounds like coded speech, whoever that person is, even if they seem like a completely unassuming person, if they're talking about if they're the words they're saying sound like some sort of coded speech, he's going to follow them.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Roll a 1d100. Your strategy is basically based most on luck. You're gonna have to get lucky to find the right people that are talking about the right things. Nice. Yeah. Give me a 1d4. Roll a
Okay.
1d4 for me. Okay. I'll let you keep the original 2. The DC of the last skill check is reduced to 28.
Scyther and Eiglir are going to return to the temple where Corcus is.
Okay. You see Corcus laying down on a little bed, and he's grimacing, trying to get up, but he's paralyzed. The priest just got deep in meditation and reading some books, trying to figure out what to do.
Can I have a moment alone with the patient, please? We have to discuss a few things.
Of
I won't.
course.
I'll be quick. I promise. He needs his rest.
And they walk out. They let you do it, and Corcus is staring at you. What do you want? He
Keep your
says.
voice down, first of all, and mind your manners. I don't need any lip from you. Second, I have some questions that you can help me with. I'm not going to count it against your debts. This is something that is going towards the cost of your payment or your healing. I want you to answer me as honestly as you can, and I don't want any deception, and I don't want any hemming and hawing. Do you understand?
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right. You mentioned your employers. We won't name them right now. Who knows might be listening. Or your former associates and who you were contracted by. Did they mention any contacts in the area? Names, code names, meeting places, things of that nature? And if so, I need to know these things.
Yeah. There's a few contacts in the area.
Very well. Eigler is pen, parchment, just taking all this down. Go on.
I. They'll kill me. Look. What's this about?
I just need to know. I just need to know code names. I'm not asking for much. Just code names. Just where you might find some of these contacts.
There.
You're gonna start a new life, my friend. You're long dead, as far as they're concerned.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. Persuasion. Advantage.
And your super effective argument has won the day. He starts revealing all sorts of information about what he knows about the Guild of the. So he works for an organization. He's not going to go into the details, but he's going to reveal a little bit more about the Guild of the Raven. He's going to talk about the handlers, the spies that they have in the area. He's going to talk about specifically the Guild of the Raven have this understanding with certain mercenaries that live inside Felton and inside 3 Run. They contract them to do certain activities. And he's going to talk about what they do and talk about where they go. He's not going to reveal names, but he is going to talk about who the mercenaries are. He's going to reveal their names. And because of your great idea, go ahead and roll me a 1d6. That's going to be subtracted from the DC skill check at the end.
You said roll 1d6?
1d6. Alright, 4. And that's going to be 24.
Real quick, one more thing. Does the name, and so I thought I'll just wrap this up. Does the name Dylan mean anything to you?
I've never heard of a Dylan.
What about the Entwood?
Entwood. No, well, no, maybe. There is. So I've traveled around as a mercenary, and in 3 Run, when I did my time in there was a city to the north east. And he says if you can pull out a map, if you guys pull out a map, he'll show you.
And Eigler would produce a map and kind of lay it out.
So there is and he kind of points to the top, or he can't point to the top, right? He's paralyzed, right? But there is a city up there called Lavender, and he says Entwood is used for their enchanted items in Lavender. It's a city. It has these tree-like tendrils that go throughout the city that kind of keep a volcano of some sort dormant. It's a very exotic place, but Entwood is the type of material that they use to enchant their magic items. They have a special process there.
Interesting. Have you heard of any such woods closer to 3 Run in Felton?
No. In fact, the Entwood over in Lavender is supposed to be very exotic, only held by the merchants and the powerful. Discreetly guarded always, never to be revealed.
Have you seen what it looks like by chance?
Never. It's very, very rare. Very expensive.
Understood. Thank you. You've been very helpful. And I will instruct the priest to continue their healing of your afflictions.
Okay.
We'll be nearby.
Okay, you leave, and there it is. Corcus is going to continue resting.
That was awesome. Good job, dude.
Great job. Great job, Henrik. Great job, Scythar.
Okay. Vex usually has lots of connections in like the criminal underground, but she hasn't really been in Felton a long time. Is there a thieves guild nearby?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes. So you know a few people that have lived a hard life on the streets that have had to resort to crime in order to survive. What do you do?
All right. So is there a local thieves guild or criminal organization nearby?
Well, not that you can contact, but you can talk with the people that some of the people that are suspected to be in there.
Ooh, okay. Okay, I guess Vex is going to seek out some of the people that she knows are sort of into the more shady business.
Okay. So you walk around Felton, talking to your old contacts. You lived on the streets. You were poor. You had to suffer through starvation. So you had a bond with these people, and you're able to talk with a young person named Aya, a young street urchin. So my parents, that her parents were killed in a civil war. She grew up on the streets alone, orphaned and poor, with no one to watch over her. So she learned to provide for herself. I fought thugs, I stole food, I slept on rooftops and in alleyways exposed to the elements, and endured sickness without the advantage of medicine or a place to recuperate. And so she's going to hear what you have to say, but she's also someone that really wants your help.
Aww. Okay. Aya, I need help for myself, to be honest. I am looking for a cult of Yangshi. Have you heard anything about mercenaries working with Yangshi in a town nearby, in this town, or around at all?
Oh, there are no Yuan-Ti in Torronth. They are enemies of the state. And I would assure you that if I knew, I would immediately turn them in to get the money. I don't like going hungry here.
Of course you would. Yeah, you're a good lass. All right. Do you know have any idea where I would gain information about something like this?
Well, I can ask around all of the street peddlers, the beggars, and all the people that live on the streets. I can do that for you and try to find any information. If you can give me some information on what you're looking for, besides Yuan-Ti.
All right. Well, it's a cult per se. It's pretty dangerous. They've done a lot of shady stuff. All right. Oh yeah. I'll buy you a meal at the tavern.
And you can see that she walks with you. Thank you so much. And she's
So
very good
Harm's
to you.
at the tavern. He's got his feet up on top of the bar, and the bartender's like giving him a dirty look. And he's got a big mug of ale, and he's saying to the people around him, "Yeah, I'm a mercenary looking for a job. Is anyone hiring?" And then he looks at you as you walk in.
You guys rejoin the party. You see everyone's there. What do you do?
I'm hiring. I need some
I
help.
thought you were broke.
I've recently come into quite a sum.
Harm swings his feet down from the bar. It's all right. I'm only joking. What do you need?
Do you know, this is my friend here, Aya. Having never met you, I would not know. But do you... Oh. Sorry. Do you know anything about, a cult of Yangshi? I don't have much information, but you look like quite a knowledgeable lad.
Yeah. Harm kind of he looks a little uncomfortable. He looks around. Is Scythar anywhere nearby, or is Scythar currently away?
Scythar's away.
Perhaps...
Is that away
Perhaps...
or
Scythar doesn't drink in taverns with common people.
copy?
Ooh.
So Harm's gonna say, I'm not sure if I know much about Yuan-Ti, but well, I knew a group of mercenaries recently that they kidnapped a child of some lizard folk, and I heard there's a mercenary organization called the Raven Guild, something like that. What sort of information do you need?
I think that's enough to go off of. Have you heard of the Ravens Guild?
Ravens Guild, I only by reputation. I mean, I know there's supposed to be some big shots, to the east. I don't really know much about them here.
What about
Where
West, to the west, sorry.
There's a thing called the Underground Railroad I've heard of. If you could find something about that.
I can ask around about the Underground Railroad.
Perhaps
Be
you could
careful.
ask about both.
Okay, Guild of the Raven and Underground Railroad, you got it?
And
If
I will pay you handsomely, Lovey.
Now, not that I care much about your life, but just letting you know, you might go get yourself killed if you talk about this to the wrong people. I don't imagine they want people finding out about it.
Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut, don't worry. But,
You'll be fine. I'll follow closely behind and keep an eye on you.
But I'm gonna need help if, in exchange, I've lived on the streets long enough to know that you can't survive out here alone. Will you mentor and take care of me?
I usually work alone, but I've got a good feeling about you. Yes, I'll take you on as my ward. I don't know. Yes.
Okay. And so Aya goes around and, left and right, and she's going to be talking with a whole bunch of people in Felton, and she's going to give you a good amount of information. Go ahead and roll down a 1d... I'm going to say 1d4. Oh, well done. All right, DC of the skill check is down to 20.
Wow. Wait. All right. Where is Scyther? Could we all gather as a group?
Uh, Hold on a minute. Before Harm's not leaving yet the tavern. At the tavern, he's gonna ask around and see if there's any places where people go to like spar and practice fighting in this town.
Yeah, you're able to tell that there
Training
is a
ground.
kind of a glade on the outside of town where people challenge each other to duels. Where where a lot of mercenaries, a lot of martial characters go around and interact.
Harm's gonna pay his tab. How much he like drank about 5 beers or 5 like mugs of ale. How much would that be?
That'd be 5 copper pieces.
Roger Dodger. And then he's gonna head to that glade that was mentioned to him.
Okay, you arrive at the glade. You see a whole bunch of mercenaries and scouts and rangers just going at each other, showing off their skills.
Harm's gonna find someone who looks like a gritty mercenary type and challenge them to a spar.
Okay, so you walk up to one of the mercenaries. He looks
He says, I say, you look like a girl. Why do you wear your hair like that?
I assure you, this is the latest fashion in Torronth, and I need to be quite respectable to be the leader of a mercenary company. My name's Griffin,
Really?
by the way. What's your name?
Tell me Harm. And what sword does he have a sword?
He does.
I'd look at his presumably smaller sword and say, let's see if your small blade there can block this. And I draw the greatsword from my back and take a fighting stance.
All right. So you fight with him left and right, and yeah, go ahead and roll me. We're gonna say athletics this time. Roll me athletics. And you get inspiration for your great roleplay. Okay. Actually, well, okay. Vex also gains inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you beat him. So you beat Griffith to the ground. Clearly, you're the superior swordsman. He forfeits to you. He concedes. He yields.
Your gear looks expensive. Any good jobs around here? I'm looking for work.
Well, if you're interested in fame and protecting Torronth, we are going on an expedition to the haunted eastern forest past Direwood to destroy a formidable undead lair when we gather enough strength. We would welcome you and your friends to join us if you are interested. The Direwood is to the east of Lavender.
My friend, huh? You have spies in this town? I'm looking for a bit of information if you can help me.
No spies. We are a mercenary company. What can we help you with?
There's another from mercenaries I heard about. I heard they're working with some, don't go spreading this around, but some snake people.
Snake. Yonti?
Yeah, that's what they're called, huh?
Well, we don't work with Yonti here, and I don't know of any mercenary guild that works with Yonti. They wouldn't remain a mercenary guild if they did. They'd be traitors.
Well, undercover, of course. I'm not saying it's you, but I was just wondering if you heard anything about that.
Well, no, I haven't heard of anyone that works with Yonti.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for the spar. When are you leaving on that expedition?
As soon as we have enough strength. I imagine it'll take maybe a week. Get enough people.
How's the pay?
It's good. It's good. We have a good contract. It depends on the magic items. There's supposedly a ruined, cursed item in there that our patron wants to obtain. Don't know what it is, the details on it yet. Just know that it's cursed, heavily defended. It's a dungeon, and it is an unexplored area, which is why they're hiring us instead of some fancy pants, army squad or.
Us?
Nice.
Who's your crew?
We have a solid amount. We have 10, 20 people. Looking for more.
Well, I'll say it again. Your gear looks expensive, and that usually means that your company's well paid. Maybe I'll hit you up sometime.
That
Can I
sounds
find
good.
you here if I want to?
Yeah, of course. We'll call this place the Boars. What kind of tavern is it?
I thought it was a training ground.
Oh yes, the training ground. What kind of
Okay.
what do you call this glade? What's the name of it?
The Bleeding Oak Glade.
The Bleeding Oak Glade. That's a fantastic
It's
name. You get
because
inspiration.
one time 2 people were sparring, and one of them accidentally got thrown backwards and they got impaled on the edge of a cut off tree branch, and that oak got covered in blood. So now it's called the Bleeding Oak Glade.
I'm going to say that Sloss was able to follow a few people, maybe a few far travelers that are exotic and not native to Felton that, traveled a lot. And they followed them left and right, and they were able to find out that there are a series of shortcuts that are used that don't take the main road, but take an alternative road from 3-1 and Felton, and that's what gave you that bonus.
Okay. So Harm arrives, and what does he see? Like, is everyone at the church now, or are they somewhere else?
I believe we're all at the tavern.
Oh, the tavern. I thought Scythar didn't like taverns.
Oh yeah.
Scythar is out meeting with some merchants, if that's permissible.
Yeah, of course.
I'm eating with Aya at the tavern.
All right, I guess Harm's gonna return to Arya and Vex and say, "So much for finding a lead. I found some fluffy mercenary. All the good he was.
Wonderful.
Did your friend there turn up anything?"
Wait,
I was
so
just about
your
to ask
conversation with Griffith, you get 1d2, so go ahead and roll that. He's going to tell you, he's going to confirm that none of the illegitimate mercenaries work with anyone like that, so.
I guess that does narrow the field.
There it is.
I guess Har says, I
22.
suppose I did find
Oops,
out that
18.
there aren't any legitimate mercenaries working with Yonti, so that's something.
Yes, I did suppose as much. It doesn't really broaden our chances of finding anything. Aya, did you find anything?
I is going to respond. I took a look around, and yeah, there are some people, there are some scouts that guide people from Felton to 3-Run. If the main road is, if the main road is, the powerful merchants and the nobles don't need to worry about this because they have escorts, they have guards, they have soldiers. But regular folk, especially folks that are persecuted, that don't have the support of society, they get preyed upon by raiders and thieves and bandits on the road, and so they have to take this alternative road that guides use in order to get to 3-Run. And some of the roads are referred to as the Underground Railroad, although it is pretty dangerous. Supposedly no one uses it because the last time it happened, they disappeared.
I think that's our best bet.
And real quick, DM, out of where was this alternate route, which I assume is the same one that Vex is hearing about, that Sloss hailed the people and found out about?
Yeah, it's the same route, and I'm just...
You hear some footsteps behind you at the bar as you're talking about this, and a man in a black coat with an eye patch appears, and he plops a map on the countertop and points his finger at that white line there. Sounds like you already found out the same thing I did. Guess you don't need me after all. Good luck.
All right.
And he's going to walk away.
That sounds good.
Could Scythar roleplay that meeting with the merchants real quick?
Sure. What do you got?
So Scythar and Aegli are going to travel around the town and meet with different, middling to high level merchants who might be doing trade in exotic goods. And they're going to ask around about Entwood. Any Entwood that has been seen or noticed in between 3-Run and Felton.
So you ask around, right? General store, you ask around all the stores, and there's no Entwood for sale. None of the merchants sell Entwood. But you do see a particular halfling that works as a carpenter who can get his hands on Entwood. And you've heard about him, and you go up to a store. You can tell that. Give me a sec. Yeah, you can tell that he's an expert carpenter and he has experience dealing with Entwood. That's the closest you can get to people that are able to sell Entwood in this region.
I just want to question him real quick, if that's okay.
Okay. So you walk up to him. Do you walk into the store?
I walk into the store and give a short bow, and I introduce myself and my credentials, and I say I'm very interested in local sources of Entwood. Have you any experience with them in between, say, Felton and 3-Run?
Come on in. My name's Samwise, expert carpenter and a local gardener if you need one. Yeah. I've dealt with Entwood before. Crafted a really nice quarterstaff for a young wizard many years ago. I know how to I know how to work the wood. I don't have any with me right now. It's closely guarded secret by the guilds up in Lavender, but I can procure it for you if you need one.
How would you go about doing that? Is it direct from Lavender, or do you know of a source closer to town?
Well, I have a contact in Three Run. It's he sells directly. He buys it directly from Lavender by one of the merchants there. It's more of a side business. It's a friend of a family member, a cousin. So this cousin, he's on the council that runs Lavender, and that's how we're able to get the best sourced Entwood there is.
Not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wonderful. Do you know of any native sources outside of Lavender?
Nope. It's
And
they have a monopoly on it.
Of course they do. Could you maybe perhaps describe what Entwood looks like? You've worked with it before.
Well, it looks like any regular tree, except supposedly it's made from trees that were living once upon a time. Living, moved around, walked, big as a house.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very well. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah,
I
but
just wanted to.
you look like a strong and daring adventurer. How would you like to participate in an upcoming business opportunity?
Oh,
I know of a location deep in the Craven Forest that has the most beautiful and magical Feywild pecan trees ever seen. It is rumored to be next to a portal to the Feywild. I need a brave group of adventurers to go there and harvest them with me. I can promise you a fair share of the profits.
I would be interested in such a thing, but it would take some time, and it would have to be it would have to be another time. I'm currently engaged in some business myself.
Okay. Well, I'm planning on leaving. I can't leave without a group of adventurers, so just come by and talk to me if you ever are interested.
Duly noted. We will be by sometime soon.
Okay. Roll me a 1d4, and we'll take that off the... So currently the skill check DC is 18. Oh, okay. 17 now.
17.
Any other ideas?
All right.
Hmm.
I think our best bet is to perhaps scout this alternative route. So, can Vex go on ahead and try to scout the route?
Unfortunately, you don't know where the route is. You only know that there is supposedly a route, but unfortunately, where the trail begins and where it ends, it's not really. I mean, it's just there's not really a path, right? There's no road. There's no stone thing. It's kind of like a. Unfortunately, you don't know that information yet.
Yes. No worries.
You don't suppose we could pay someone to give us a tour guide, do you? Harm says.
You could probably talk to people and do that.
Yes, they were talking about hired people. Aya was saying something about that. People who hired them to take them through the alternate route.
Ah, that's right. Arya's her name. Harm points at the girl. Those people who gave you the information. Could you point us to them?
Sure. And so Aya will lead the party to those people. You walk in. It's a group of this guild is for the scouts and explorers. It's their kind of guild hall where they go and escort people. They usually escort people into the Ganther Plains to the northwest. That's what their main business is, and they also go into the Furrygland Swamp. So that's where the lizard folk are. That's kind of where the guild does most of its business. You kind of walk in. There's a few people milling about. They're mostly ranger types, rogue types.
This sounds like it would be probably best for me to talk around, since I am also of the same type.
My thoughts exactly. You want me to shadow you, or should I wait here? He's by the door.
Perhaps right here. I don't want anyone to have a tight mouth just for fear of being beaten up by a brute.
You got
No
it.
offense.
Over here. No offense taken. I understand.
I will ask around to see if anyone is familiar with the alternative route to 3 Run.
Okay, so you see a few people milling about. What do you say to them? Like, so you see them, you're approaching. What do you do?
Ah, friends. Would any of you perhaps know? I have heard a tale of what is called the Underground Railroad, an alternative path to 3 Run. Would you guys be familiar with that?
Most of them turn away from you, uninterested, but there is one person that catches your attention that kind of waves you over.
Whoa. Hello.
The name is Vane. And I know what you're talking about. What's your name?
My name is. You can call me Vex.
Okay, pleasure to meet you, Vex. So, Underground Railroad. I know where it is.
Wonderful. Could you draw it on a map?
Yes I can, but it'll cost you.
Of course. I can pay you. Let's say 1 gold.
Okay, so how about 10 gold pieces?
Oh, well, that's pretty steep. There isn't anything I can convince you to lower the price.
Well, how would you, what would you say? Like, why would I lower the price?
An old friend? A new friend? A perhaps I could offer my services on any any adventure that you might need services on.
Well, you do. I do have an adventure coming up that I need help with. You see, are you interested in a big game hunt? I will be journeying to the Cravenloft Mountain to hunt an ancient dragon that is rumored to be sick and dying. I can promise you a fair share if you and your friends are interested in joining me.
Ooh. I shall ask around. But first, how are we about the price of a map?
Well, seeing as how this is, I've gained this knowledge through hunting supernatural creatures and risked my life many, many times. But considering that, are you willing to join me to hunt this dragon?
Well, of course. I've never hunted a dragon. I've always been quite curious.
So she's going to insight check you. I want you to either roll deception or you don't need to roll if you're telling the truth.
Okay. Deception.
You know, I've been around the block. I've talked to all sorts of mercenaries. I've talked to criminals, and I can tell when someone's nervous, when someone is afraid of going into the mountains. And I can smell that fear on you.
Well, see, I have had my run-in with dragons before. It is never quite as easy as people seem to think it is for some reason. It's a literal dragon. I understand that he's old, but dragons have a certain skill set that I do not see myself as quite able to overcome.
The dragon is sick and dying. It's not an ancient dragon anymore. It's like the equivalent of a small dog. You could easily just kick it and it will. Think about it. Imagine a banshee, except it's so weak that you could destroy it with a ray of sunlight. It's just a prime opportunity. I've hunted wyverns before. You know, a smaller species, poisonous dragon with a tail that can lacerate and impale a horse. Those types. I mean, it's weaker than that.
How do you know of it?
I have my sources.
Perhaps I will change my mind. Perhaps I can help you.
Tell you what, seeing as how I want a good relationship between us, and I do want us to go on this adventure together, How about we go, instead of 10 gold pieces, we'll go 6 gold pieces. I'll give you a 40% discount on the condition that you share this proposition with your friends and anyone else that has the skill to take on this daring quest.
I will definitely do that. I will give her 6 gold pieces.
Okay, she takes 6 gold pieces and she draws you a map and it tells you exactly where to go on the Underground Railroad. I'll go ahead and give you, roll 2d6. It's a double critical.
Okay.
Oh, okay, well, I guess. All right, 14 then.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So you guys know where the Underground Railroad is, and yeah. Any other ideas? Or are you guys ready to?
As Vex is returning from the talk with that guy, and she exits the building, Harm says, and I guess maybe after she mentions kind of what she found, he's gonna say, "You said you fit in with the people in there. Does that mean you're good at finding your way through the wilderness?"
Oh, I've traveled through the wilderness many a time.
Oh, all right. In that case, I suppose we'll rejoin with Scythar.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Scythar and Iglir will meet up with you.
So, what'd you find?
Who, me? Well, our friend Corcus sung like a bird.
Really? What do you say?
He divulged many interesting things about the organization of the Guild of Shadows, or Guild of Ravens, including parts of their doings in the area and the relationship to the Underground Railroad.
Wonderful.
I think if we wanted to set out and look for the only thing that this hideout we could do so. The only connection that I haven't made yet is this Entwood business. I found out that Entwood is highly sought after commodity up in Lavender, and it's they have a monopoly on Lavender. But I felt as though the scope of our journey was between Freerun and Felton. So if we do see any of this Entwood, it should be out of place, or perhaps it's reference to something that isn't obvious yet.
Mm.
So keep an eye out for anything related to it, I would say.
Will do.
Okay.
I'm not sure who is the best investigator here, but if no one feels comfortable doing it, then Iglir would best serve.
I'm just a 10 investigation.
Just a 10, huh?
I'll give you investigation or survival, because now you're just trying to you're following the Underground Railroad, so that's kind of like tracking. So I'm gonna give you that.
Oh, you meant like a passive 10, not a plus 10 modifier.
Yeah, passive 10.
Okay.
You're
like only plus 10.
I have a passive 10 of a survival of 11 and plus 1.
I've got +4 to investigation on Iglir. If you want me to go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
I'm
give
gonna
me
plus
investigation
survival.
at advantage.
So I'm gonna have I'm gonna turn to Iglir and be like, all right, you go ahead, sum up. What have we invested? So Igler's been writing down all of your accounts as this has been going on. And go ahead, Iglir, sum up our findings. And Iglir will nod and bow and say, "Yes, my lord."
Yeah.
And he'll recite all the connections they've made and kind of create a narrative. So I'm gonna roll this with advantage.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
There it is. Well done.